Hello everyone, today I'm making a video about the Cartrivision format. I mean, look at my face. I'm smiling right now. Now, I've said this in the past. I plan to make many videos about this format, the Cartrivision format, which, I mean, compared to all of the formats that I collect, me personally, this one is incredibly special, because, not just because it's so old, because it's incredibly rebellious. I consider this format to be quite a rebellious format because it really tried to go against the norm, against the big guys. I'm talking about Sony's U-Matic system, which at this time it was mostly a prosumer format. I mean, it was used in homes, but the prices were incredibly high. They were incredibly difficult to acquire compared to this. This was a lot more easier to acquire. Also, the prices for this format, the Cartrivision format, were a lot lower. Now, I'm not just gonna make one video, because that if I were to make just a single video about this format, that video would be, I don't know, 8 or 10 hours long. There's a lot to say about this format, based on its history, how it came about, what cities were involved in selling, shipping out this format to all over the country. It's a wonderful. Now, I actually want to dedicate this video to someone. That would be Richard Deal, also known as Video Lab Guy. He has a wonderful website that explains not only this format, but many other formats, vintage formats. He really does his best to show you how they work. The history about them, the prices. It's a wonderful website. It's been around for a long time. Now, I don't have a website myself, but I've thought about making my own. Richard, he really inspires me. I mean, he's the best. I've told him, you're a celebrity, and he kind of denies it, but I mean, at least to me, I consider Richard to be a celebrity. I've told him, I consider you the father of vintage technology, and he kind of kids around and tells me, well, I don't know about being the father, maybe the uncle. He has a wonderful sense of humor. Now, Richard, he has been wanting to meet with me, sort of like a get-together, find out, what do you have? Let me check out what you have. Maybe I can kind of help you out. I mean, that hasn't happened yet. It's not that I don't want to do such a thing. It's just that I don't feel ready for such a thing, because, like I told you, I consider Richard to be a celebrity. It's not like I can just willy-nilly go, okay, let me go ahead and meet with a celebrity. No, I mean, I'm gonna have to kind of prepare myself, because I've noticed when I get nervous, I kind of become a mess. I get really nervous. I start yeah. So that's just me. Okay. Now, regarding this video, I'm really gonna try to focus just on the media itself. I know I'm not gonna show you. Like, I have quite a few machines regarding this format. I have manuals. I have actual. That would be newsletters that were mailed out. Now, these are not copies. These have not been reprinted. These are the originals. They're incredibly yellowed because they're so old. I'm probably not going to show them in this video, because, I mean, each of those newsletters, they absolutely deserve a video on their own, because they're very special. I mean, I'm telling you the truth, I feel like I don't deserve those newsletters because they're so rare and they have so much history. They have some incredible dates. Now, this format, I know it was sold between 1972 and 1973, but I have actual proof that states otherwise. Now, this format was still being sold for a lot longer than that. I have manuals and I have newsletters that state that this format was still being sold till 1977, believe it or not. And I want to show you those newsletters in a lot of detail. I also want to dedicate this video to my friend, Chris. You know, what Chris does, he does something very wonderful. He makes animated films. Regarding the 1970s, he loves the 1970s. I mean, way more than I do. I mean, I appreciate the 70s, but not as much as my friend Chris. So let me really focus. Now, I'm going to show you I have a lot of these guys, not just this is actually a pre-recorded film, but I also have the blank media. I have sealed blank media in this format. Now, they were not cheap. They were not easy to acquire. but it's not impossible. For example, if you yourself, you the viewer, you want to collect this format, I'm going to tell you, you can still find machines and media regarding this format. I gotta tell you, buy them. They're worth every penny. All right, let me really focus on this. All right. Now, like I said before, I don't use a professional camera. This is actually my everyday cell phone. Because I want to let you, the viewers, know that you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to use a very expensive video camera regarding this hobby. Anyone can do this. I mean, you might own media and machines regarding this format. I gotta tell you, please show them. They deserve to be shown, to be celebrated, to be shown off. Because each video, for example, my plan is not to either replace or be better than other videos regarding this format on YouTube. This is just my own personal take. Me, Rene Gonzalez. This is just my take, my 2 cents worth. You, the viewer, you might have more information about this, and please do share that information. It's wonderful history, which I believe it's been locked away. For example, I told my friend Chris, I've had this format for a couple of years. I own a total of 4 machines regarding this format. And at least to me, it feels like this format. It was kind of placed inside of a chest, and it was chained up with a whole lot of locks, and it was thrown into the sea. Well, obviously, this is kind of like a metaphor because that didn't actually happen. But I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. There's not much information. For example, U-Matic, the U-Matic format, you'll find a whole lot of information about U-Matic. Now, regarding Cartrivision, there's not that much. All right. Now, let me kind of show you this guy. Now, this is a pre-recorded film. I mean, look at the presentation. It looks very nice in this red colored kind of housing. This is actually cardboard. It has like this sort of golden. Let me kind of move that on purpose. You've probably seen this. Pre-recorded Cartrivision films. You can still buy them. You can still find them. They're wonderful. Now, let me kind of tell you something about this format. Now, if you plan to collect this format and you're expecting something that's high quality, high resolution, a wonderful color spectrum, stuff like that, you're gonna be very disappointed. Now, this format, it's really low regarding this resolution. For example, even the frame rate itself, it only records 10 frames per second, and it spits it, you can kind of say it spits it out at you at 30, even though it only captured 10 frames per second. Now, regarding 10 frames per second, it doesn't look that nice. I mean, if you compare it to a modern day film recorded in 4K and 60 hertz, for example, you're gonna realize that this kind of looks kind of choppy. For example, the movement is not that smooth. It looks very kind of like choppy. I mean, but at least to me, I actually do plan to record onto this format. That would be modern day films from my Blu-ray and DVD collection. I mean, the fact that this records in color really helps. For example, if this format only recorded in black and white, I would not collect it because I really don't like the black and white machines. When I actually found out about this format a long time ago, thanks to Richard Deal, his wonderful website. That would be the Lad Guys World website. I read that this actually records in color. So I said, okay, bingo. I actually placed that on my list. I actually made a list a long time ago, many years ago, regarding what types of vintage videotape machines I wanted to collect in the near future. And I did consider this one to be one of them because it, like I told you, it does record in color. And it's based on magnetic videotape. I love magnetic media, not just videotape, audio tape as well as that would be computer media like floppy disks. Now, I have been wanting to show my collection of computer media. That would be vintage computer media, but I really want to finish first showing my collection of that would be vintage video. So yes, wonderful presentation. Now, this is actually a cooking instructional video where it kind of lets you know the ingredients, stuff like that. It's wonderful. It's history. This is Continental Cuisine, an easy guide to European cookery, created by Tom Stobart, narrated by Michael Flanders. This is actually volume 2. There was a volume 1. It talks about cuisine from Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and England. Wonderful. There were many, well, obviously this is not a film, a movie. This is sort of like an instructional video, but there was also films shown in this format. I actually have a list of all of the films that were sold, including prices. It's sort of like an inventory list of the warehouses. It actually has numbers next to each title to kind of know how many are left and how many have been sold. Now, it seems like they didn't carry the same amount of each film. Some of them they had more of, some of them they have less of. Some of those titles were incredibly rare. For example, the X-rated titles, that would be the ones that have nudity in them. It's wonderful. I mean, yes, the X-rated films, they absolutely were, they influenced not just this format, many other formats that came afterwards. For example, Beta. For example, VHS. They did have X-rated films released in those formats. And yes, the video technology that was around during that time, it definitely influenced the availability of those X-rated films. Let me go ahead and open this one. I own quite a few pre-recorded films like this, but I don't want to show them all. I just want to show you one for now. For example, you might not be familiar with this format, which you probably are if you're watching this video. For example, whenever I make YouTube videos, I try to make them as detailed as possible. Regarding the keywords, I fill that guide as much as I can because I really want to help you, the viewers, find these wonderful videos that I make. Okay, let me kind of show you this because you've probably seen this via images, but there's nothing like seeing it via a video. You get a lot more information, a lot better feedback. It has this because that's actually where the reels are placed. Now notice that right there. This material right here is sort of like a clear translucent material. Now it wasn't translucent in all of the videotapes regarding this format. Some of them, this part is actually white colored. For some reason on this one, it's a clear material. Take a look at this. This is wonderful to read right here. Let me try to really zoom in. It says Cartridge Television Incorporation, Palo Alto, California. Palo Alto, yes. Now this format, the Cartrivision format, there was quite a few cities that were involved in it, involved in the manufacturing as well as the research and development, as well as the financing. Now, obviously this format, it didn't just happen from one day to the next. They had to kind of come up with the funds, the money to be able to start such a format. Now, there were quite a few cities that were involved. One of those was Palo Alto. Now, I do work in Palo Alto. I'm an electrician. I work in both the residential and commercial electrical systems for both pre-owned and brand new buildings. I work in Palo Alto. Now, I have told some people that live in Palo Alto about this format, and they don't know anything about it. Like I told you, the history regarding this format is kind of hidden. It's lost. It's kind of forgotten. And I want to kind of try to destroy that. Let people know about the wonderful history about this format. Like I told you, regarding other formats, I mean, including VCR. I'm going to show you quite a few different formats there. They're kind of, they're not identical. They're a little bit similar to this format for quite a few reasons. That would be including the VCR format, which was actually never released in the United States. This was actually released in Europe. It was actually released before the Cartrivision format. Now, regarding the world's first home VCR system, there's quite a big debate out there. I mean, some people consider this guy to be the first one ever, Cartrivision, which was released between 1972 and 1973. But other people consider this one to be the first. This was also released in 1972. But there are others that consider the U-Matic, because believe it or not, there were some U-Matic machines that actually had a built-in tuner. I mean, why would a prosumer machine have a tuner? Obviously, that's a home machine made for homes, because homes, they actually have, that would be antennas built into their homes to be able to capture the programs being broadcasted via over-the-air televisions. So yes, depending on your preference, I mean, this, like I told you, there's a big debate out there. You might consider the Cartrivision format to be the very first home VCR. You might consider the VCR format to be the very first home VCR. Or you might consider the U-Matic format to be the world's first home VCR. But that's up to you. That can be your own opinion. Now let me put these aside, because I'm gonna open these guys and tell you why they're so similar to each other. Put these aside. Now another format that was very similar to this is the VX format. I bought this from Japan. That would be Yahoo Auctions. These are from the National brand, the National company, which is actually was a sister company of Panasonic. Actually, this format was released a lot later than Cartrivision. This format was released in Japan, these guys, in 1976, but this one was released in the United States in 1977. Now, the reason why I have them up here, because they are in fact a little bit similar to Cartrivision. Let me tell you why. Now, I've shown these guys in a lot of detail. I'm not going to open this guy because I've shown it many times. Let me get ahead and show you. That would be the Japanese version of the VX format. I'm kind of deviating right here. Obviously, I'm no longer talking about Cartrivision, but trust me, it does have to do with it because they're very similar. You might say that the Cartrivision format influenced many other formats that came out after it, including this guy in 1976 in Japan. All right, now the reason I'm saying that it's very similar is because these are in fact a dual stacked format. See right here, we have two reels, not just one. We have this lower reel, but we also have this upper reel. They're on top of each other. They call these dual stacked. So not only was this, the VX format, dual stacked, the Cartrivision format was also a dual stacked format, because as you can see right here, we have a bottom reel. See, I'm moving it on purpose, but we also have a top reel right there. They're on top of each other. It's a dual stacked system. Let me go ahead and open one of the VCR format videotapes. Now, I have been wanting to make this video for a long time. I wanted to make this about 2 months ago, and I realized that I needed more time. I needed more research. Actually, I still don't feel ready to show you this video, but I mean, I feel like it's never going to be perfect. For example, if you, the viewer, you're thinking about making such a video, please go ahead. I would love to watch those videos. Now, this is the VCR format. This is a wonderful brand. Not only did they make this format, they made audio cassettes. They made VHS tapes. They made beta tapes. They made compact cassettes. Very high quality stuff. See right here? Actually, this is not in English. It says chrome dioxide, which means chrome dioxide. It's a wonderful formulation. For example, this is chrome based. Now the Cartrivision format, unfortunately, it is not chrome based. So you have to clean your machines quite often. You get a lot of wear and tear on the media itself. Unfortunately, this format was never released in the chrome formulation. This is actually ferric videotape, just like the VX format. This is also ferric. So regarding these two formats, you have to clean the video heads quite often. You get a lot of wear and tear, a lot of residue, because these are quite old. 1972, 1975, 1977, 1972. Now that's a long time ago. This is way before I was born. I was born in 1982. Wonderful. Now, this actually had a few, even though this was actually released a few months before the Cartrivision format, this one has advantages. For example, this one actually gave you the ability to record in different speeds, different resolutions. This guy, the Cartrivision format, you could only record in one speed. It's sort of like a downside. I mean, it's always wonderful to have options. Okay. Right here it says 45 minutes. So this videotape that I'm holding right here, it's in the VCR format, which actually stands for, let me zoom in right here, video cassette recording, VCR. Actually, this format is a little bit difficult to find because whenever you type in the word VCR, it's kind of like a general phrase for all videotape machines. When you're trying to find this format right here, it's not just enough to type in VCR because you're gonna get a whole thousands and thousands of results. What really helps when you're looking at this format is to type in the runtime. For example, if you type in VC45, which is actually the 45-minute runtime videotapes, it's gonna really narrow down your searches. You don't have to dig around through so many hundreds and hundreds of pages. Let me go ahead and open this guy. Now the casing for these guys, it's very wonderful. It's a hard case. For example, the cases for the Cartrivision, it was just cardboard. So there was sort of like a higher chance that you get, for example, mold, water damage regarding cardboard. Now regarding plastic cases, they work a lot better. They protect the media a lot better against both moisture, dust, stuff like that. Okay, let me open this guy. I actually purchased this guy from the Netherlands. Now, whenever you buy, well, this is considering the fact that I live in San Jose, California. Obviously, the Netherlands, it's very far away. It's in Europe. Also, not all shipping services deliver to and from the Netherlands. Now, I have wonderful experience with DHL, the German DHL delivery service. It's not cheap. I mean, price-wise, they're very similar to, for example, FedEx. But regarding DHL, I have not had a single delivery that has been lost or damaged or held in customs. I mean, it has happened to me where I get an email stating, we're holding your item in customs because they basically want more money. Because many times when I buy these guys via, for example, eBay, the sellers, they state that this is a gift for personal use. But sometimes I order so many media that I get like 10, 12 shipments in a single day from the same seller. And the customs, it kind of lights up a red flag, you might say. And the customs regarding shipping, they always state, okay, it seems like you have plans of reselling. We're going to have to charge you more because it seems like you plan to resell. Now, regarding reselling, I actually hate selling. I don't like selling. I would much rather give away something than to sell. But yes, DHL, wonderful service. I've had wonderful results with DHL. Okay, now look at that videotape. It's a very dark color because it is in fact chrome based. It's wonderful stuff. Now regarding chrome based either videotape or audio tape, there's a way to kind of find out if it's true chrome. You smell them. Now, I have said that in the past. They actually have sort of like a waxy crayon smell, like Crayola crayons. Well, there were other brands that made crayons, but Crayola, they had a specific smell to them. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to smell this guy. Oh yes, now that smells like Crayola crayons. So yes, this is a wonderful formulation. Now technically this formulation, it does not shed as much as these ferric ones. So you don't have to clean your machines regarding this format as often. It's wonderful formulation. Now, I do own, for example, VHS videotapes in this formulation. And they work wonderfully. They just keep going and going. Okay, so this is the VCR format. Like I told you, let me show you in detail right here. I mean, you might have or you might not have seen this. As you can see, it's very scratched because yes, this is in fact used. This is also a dual stack setup. You have both a bottom reel. You don't have much movement in here, which is wonderful to see. This is a lot more, they put a lot of research and development into this guy. They did a wonderful job. This is a much better setup. Look at those cogs. I mean, there's like no way that that's gonna slip. They really grab on to the reels. It's a wonderful system. Also, the size of them, they're very different. This is very compact, very small. You can have a lot of these guys compared to these others. Okay, now this is actually not the only size of Cartrivision videotapes. There was another one. I do have them. I'm going to show you them in this video. Now this video is not going to be short. It's going to be quite long. Even though I'm just going to focus on the media, it's still going to be a long video. There's a lot to say about it. There's a lot to show. There's a lot to appreciate about this format. This is not the only size. There were others that were about half as tall. That kind of helped. But unfortunately, you get a much shorter runtime. Let me kind of compare the size to a VX format one. See? Different size. Much shorter. They're pretty much the same width. Actually, it's just a little bit shorter, about an inch or so. Thickness-wise, it's pretty much the same. For example, I don't know if anyone's ever done such a thing. Shown 3 different videotape formats that all 3 are actually dual stacked. I'm very happy to make this video. All right, let me put these aside. Let me kind of grab another one of these guys, which was actually released after this format. That would be this. Now, technically, this is still part of the VCR format. They call this Super Video because they actually had a whole lot of options for runtimes. Let me show you that right now. Look at that. And that's quite a few different runtimes that you can have. For example, this specific one is the SVC3. For example, if you plan to collect this format, like I told you, you can go ahead and just type in VCR. But you're going to get a whole lot of different runtimes. What really helps is to add this SV, Super Video, or Long Play. That'll really narrow down your searches. I have many of these, which I have bought from not only the Netherlands, I bought from, for example, Germany. They have German television shows, which I might share via my YouTube page in the near future. I do plan to show you my machines regarding this format, but not yet. I really want to show the American ones first. That would be, for example, in this case, the Cartrivision format. Yes, I mean, presentations wise, looks very nice. BASF, wonderful brand, like I told you, wonderful product that they sold. These were actually tested before they were sold. So the chances of receiving a dud, some people call it a dud, where it's, for example, it's a product that's damaged by a factory damage, factory defects. There were very few regarding BASF. They actually tested them before they sold them. Look at this sort of silverish look that it has to it. It's not too shiny. It's just barely shiny. It really looks like sort of like silverish. Very nice presentation. Look at these wonderful colors. They're sort of like a rainbow spectrum. Very nice presentation. Now this actually uses a different setup. Unlike the older VCR tapes, which actually came in this hard case that moves like so, these actually came in a slip case that works like so. They slide, very similar to, for example, VHS, very similar to, for example, Beta. They came in such a setup, a slip case. The plastic use on this, very nice. Very similar to the material used, for example, on the Nintendo NES video game cartridges. Yes, very similar. Very nice. For example, this happens to be SVC3. Now there were others, which you can actually see right here. There was, for example, the SVC1. There was SVC 1.5, SVC2, SVC3, SVC4. Depending on which type you had either SVC recording playback or long play or VCR. Not like I told you, VCR is technically the oldest of all of these three choices. You might say that that was the standard recording. They actually gave you the most resolution, you might say. Now, since this is actually a VC3, you can either record 50 minutes in the highest resolution or 108 minutes long play. Now, technically, the VHS format, it also had an option that was called long play, LP mode. Or you can record 180 minutes in the SVC, which is, this is really advertised as SVC. See right here, SV, Super Video. Now, obviously, you had resolution, but you had a whole lot of runtime. So yeah, that's a very big advantage of the VCR format compared, well, not just to compare to Cartrivision, compared to, for example, VX format. Now, the VX format is so weird, because by the time this format was released, you already had this guy, and this one actually had a lot of, you might say it had a lot of advantages compared to the VX. For example, this had a much better formulation. You didn't have to clean your machines as often. It's an advantage compared to this guy. Even though this was released afterwards, both 1976 and 1977, this has advantage, better formulation. Also, the ability to record in different runtimes. That's a huge advantage. It's always wonderful to have choices. All right, let me put these aside. And let me show you, now I'm not going to show you my entire collection of cartridge videotapes. Actually, I don't have enough space on my table because I have so many. This is my kitchen. This is where I actually make my videos. Now, I would love to make my videos in my living room / bedroom, but it's a mess in there. For example, I don't have shelves, so I have pretty much waist-high stacks of many different media, both computer, videotape, audio tape, vinyl records. It's a mess. I have to buy shelves, and they're gonna have to be very strong because some of these machines that are, especially Cartrivision, the Cartrivision machines are incredibly big, incredibly heavy. Let me put these aside and kind of show you these a little bit more detail, because I haven't shown these via a video yet. Let me kind of compare them to the American released ones. I mean, since I'm here, I'm kind of deviating, but trust me, it has to do with this. Because this was in fact inspired by Cartrivision. Absolutely. Okay, let me show you this to you guys. 30-minute. And now there was also the... there were different runtimes. I just want to show one right now. For example, not only was it the 30, there was a 60, there was a 100. I just want to show this one. Now, I've actually played Now, the wonderful thing about when you buy media from Japan, believe it or not, Japan also uses the NTSC standard. So yes, I am able to play back this one, even though it was released and recorded on a machine, a different machine, a national branded one, not a Quasar branded one like this. See right here, it says Quasar. They're compatible. They have the same NTSC system. Now, I played this one. Now, what it has on there, they're sort of like previews, short video previews. They're not too long. They're about between 10 and 12 minutes long. That would be X-rated film previews, which is, I mean, I do collect X-rated films in many different formats. I think they're special because they kind of preserve that era of the 70s. That would be, for example, the hairstyles, for example, the furniture that was used back in those days. You'll see that in the films. I mean, beyond the X-rated content on them. It's wonderful to see that. So yes, this has previews of X-rated films. It's very interesting. It seems, see, I kind of researched what these labels state, and that's actually sort of like a rental location where you can go ahead and rent videos. They kind of have this sort of like preview tape where you can actually take it home and preview short clips, 10, 12 minutes long. So you kind of determine if you want to rent the entire film or not. It's wonderful history. Now, I absolutely plan to keep this guy. Now, obviously, I'm not going to share it via my video page because I'll probably get in trouble. YouTube, they don't really like the nudity stuff, X-rated stuff. So, I'm not going to upload this, whatever's on here. That's wonderful to know that not all of the videos in this preview are from Japan. Some of them are American films. Not only are there American X-rated previews, but also Japanese. Yeah, the Japanese X-rated films, they're quite risque, you might say. You might even say they're kind of weird. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, each person has their own opinion regarding the X-rated films. Anyways, let me show you this. I mean, I don't know how to read this. I mean, you the viewer, you might know what that says. You might know what this says as well. I have no idea. You might know what that says. Now, I do plan to buy a lot more of these guys. Absolutely. See, I believe this is Japanese right here. Japanese. I don't know what that says either. Wonderful. All right, now let me go ahead and show you my collection of Cartrivision videotapes. Put that aside. You'll still find these guys on eBay, for example. I've actually had to stop buying them because I already own almost, it's like 250 of these guys. Yeah, I have enough of these. I don't really need more than 250. That's a whole lot of videotapes. All right, let me put this guy aside in its wonderful case. The rear had no writing or anything. It's a very nice, it's sort of like a simulated leather. You might not have been able to see this via a standard image, but now you can. It has sort of like a simulated leather finish. Very nice. Very nice presentation. With the window, you can actually see the interior. Very nice presentation. Wonderful job, Cartrivision. All right, put that aside. Okay, let me show you something wonderful. That would be the actual boxes that were shown when these were sold. Now, that's not every day you get to see such a box, because it obviously is cardboard based. Now, cardboard, it doesn't really survive the times. Now, obviously, this is not in mint quality, but it's very special to me. it has many little clues about this format. It says Cartrivision video cartridges. Let me flip that over. Okay, see, this is a clue. I mean, you can barely read it, but this is sort of like a stamp that was stamped on here. It says 15-minute blanks. Yes, there were in fact 15-minute runtime Cartrivision videotapes. You might not have known that. Okay, now this is a wonderful clue as well. It says Cartrivision Television Incorporation, 2465 East Bayshore Road, Palo Alto, California, 94303. So yes, Palo Alto. Palo Alto was indeed involved in this format, Cartrivision, but it wasn't the only city. There were others. Very nice. Now this is also another wonderful clue. Look at this. It says 114 minute. Okay, even though this had 15-minute runtime blanks, they were made into 114-minute runtimes. How? How was that possible? Well, I actually have actual printed newsletters that not only did they explain how to do such a thing, they have drawings that show, they actually give you quite a few choices. I want to show you those, but probably not in this video because this video is already 40 minutes long. I mean, that concept, it absolutely deserves a video on its own. There's a lot of wonderful history, like I told you, and it's kind of hidden. It's hard to find. It's not discussed that much, but I really want to tell you in a lot of detail about this. A wonderful format that it existed. It didn't last too long. It deserves to be celebrated. Cartrivision, an original box. Wonderful. Now the inside wasn't painted. It's just standard cardboard. It's not bleached, for example. It's not very white. It really looks like sort of like that cereal box material. I love owning this. All right, put this aside. Okay, let me show you one of those 15-minute runtime videotapes. They were pink, sort of like this hot pink color. Yeah, I mean, that's quite a short runtime. 15-minute blank cartridge for video recording. Instant replay. Yes. Why does it say instant replay? That's because some of these, they had red colored cover right here. And you couldn't just go ahead and rewind them. You had to go to, this is wonderful right here, the wonderful history. You, believe it or not, you had to go to your local Sears. Yes, the store Sears. I mean, they've been closing many Sears stores because obviously Amazon, places like Amazon, they're the new thing. They have better prices, better selection than Sears. So they've been closing many Sears stores. Not just Sears, many Macy's, many JCPenney's. I mean, there was a time when you could buy not just clothing, but also electronics at JCPenney, at Macy's. Not anymore. They really focus on the clothing, but there was a time when they sold televisions, VCRs, audio equipment. Back in the 80s, back in the early 90s, but they eventually, they really focus on the clothing. So you had to actually take them to your local Sears to have them rewound so you can go ahead and watch them again. Now, the rewinding process, it was not free. You had to pay to have those rewound. Now, that might be one of the reasons why this format failed. I mean, the fact that you had to pay to rewind them. A lot of people didn't like that. Now, there was a way to kind of bypass that system, modify the videotapes themselves. You can go ahead and rewind them yourself. I probably won't get into that. That's something else that I really want to explain in a lot of detail. But it's going to have to be another video because this video would be incredibly long. So yes, even though this is a 15-minute runtime, there was in fact a way to make this into a 114-minute runtime one. Let me kind of tell you just briefly how such a thing was done. These have, believe it or not, screws. They are in fact screwed. They're not just glued together, they're screwed together. Let me kind of show you exactly where the screws are at. Okay, I have another one. Okay, this is an original one right here. This is in fact 15-minute runtime. This used to be a 15-minute runtime one, but it was converted to 114. Obviously they were opened. See right here we have screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. You had to remove those 4 screws. After you remove those 4 screws, you were able to get in here. And you would refill these guys with EIAJ videotape. Those were mostly used for the open reel machines. Now regarding EIAJ videotape, they have become incredibly difficult to acquire. Many of those reels have been thrown away, they have been recycled, they have become e-waste. But it's not impossible. They do pop up on eBay, but not too often. Obviously, weight-wise, this is incredibly lightweight. There's not much videotape in here. There's only 15 minutes worth. This guy is a lot heavier. This 114 minutes worth of videotape in this guy. Now, that's very difficult to show via a video. Weights, very lightweight. See how it bounces? This guy, very heavy. It doesn't bounce that much. It has a different sound. Yes, a whole lot of videotape in here, not much. Now, why would you want to create this 15-minute runtimes to 114? Well, one of the reasons was, actually, there never was a 114-minute runtime videotape. I mean, there was the 100, but there was no 114. It's sort of like a way to create something that is not possible via an original videotape. You can make them a lot longer than these. Also, another reason why this was done, because you would save a whole lot of money. I do have prices, actual prices of these guys. I'm not going to show you that. Like I told you, I'm going to make many videos about this concept. It's a wonderful format. So yes, these were very inexpensive. You could kind of buy these, very inexpensive ones, open them, make them into 114. Now you can go ahead and leave the original videotape in there and just add on by making a splice. I do own some of these that they state that there is a splice in them. Yes, because they were actually made longer. There's a lot of room in here. It's a big cartridge for just 15 minutes worth of videotape. This guy is pretty much packed, very heavy. All right, put that aside. Let me kind of show you what they placed here. They actually covered the 15-minute label with this typed that says 114 minute. They also placed it right here on its side, 114 minute. Yes. Now this is actually, it's recorded. It says Hoffer. Right there. Hoffer. Now notice this right here. It's sort of like a razor blade cut that was made right here. You have to do this. If you don't cut this area right here, you won't be able to remove this cover. Notice this one. This one is intact. There is no cut right here. See, this is one of the reasons why I consider this format to be very rebellious. I'm pretty sure that the Cartrivision company, they hated the fact that people would refill these guys, because obviously they would not get that money that they would have received if you bought a 100-minute one. This actually went against your warranty. By opening these guys and refilling them, you actually lost your warranty from Cartrivision. All right. I love making this video. I have been wanting to make this video for a long time. I'm not done yet. I have a lot more media here. Okay, let me show you another one. Like I told you a while ago, there were different sizes. Not only were those big square-shaped ones, there was also these smaller ones. Now, when you place these guys into your machine, I'm not going to show you my machines in this video. I'll show you my machines in another video. You place them like so. drop them in. After you drop them in, you kind of push them forward and they lock in. So that means that they didn't have to be the same length. They're still dropped in there. See, the bottom part is actually the part that opens up. Drop them in there. Drop them in there. Even though this is taller, they're compatible with the same machine. Now, run-wise, length-wise. Now, this used to be a 15-minute one. See right here? It says it was converted into a 30-minute runtime one. It used to be 15, very inexpensive, and it was converted to 30. See how you can see the screws? These were in fact opened and refilled with another 15-minute worth of EIHA videotape. See right here, we have that cut that was made right there in order to be able to open this guy. And they actually place a label right here that says 30 minutes. So yes, this actually lost its warranty when it was done, but it was a very inexpensive way to create longer runtimes and save a lot of money. All right, now that's shorter ones. All right, I have more of those. Here's another one. They both used to be 15-minute runtimes, but they were converted to 30-minute runtime ones. Yes. See right there? 30-minute. They are now 30-minute runtimes. They did make 30-minute runtime ones. Let me go ahead and show you those. I have a lot of these guys, and I do plan to buy a lot more. Okay, so far this is the short 15-minute ones, which were created into 30. This is the larger 15-minute ones, which were converted to 114. All right. Okay, here's another one. This happens to be the larger ones that were converted to 114 as well. See, you got that splice right there. 114. A lot of runtime. You can actually fit an entire, that would be a film into this guy, for sure. Now, some films were a lot longer than that, so they actually had to come in two parts. Very nice. Let me do this. I love seeing these colors. Very nice. Nice colors. Here's another one that used to be 15, which was actually converted to 114. I love knowing that these actually have recordings on them. They're not blank. I actually place recorded videotapes like these. They're more special to me because I get to see, for example, commercials from back in 1972, 1973. Like I told you, this was in fact sold up to 1977, believe it or not. But they were actually not sold by the Cartrivision format, because the Cartrivision format actually, it went under. They went bankrupt around the ending of 1973. But they were still being sold because they actually sold the remaining stock that they had via wholesale. And those wholesale sold machines were resold for a long time. Look at this date. It says September 1977. Yes. So even though this format was considered obsolete in 1973, somewhere in there, late 1973, it was still being used by people. There's a lot of people, they loved using this format. See, it says 1977, which is wonderful to see. That tells you that this was still being used a lot longer after this format went under. The company went under. See, this says not copyright 1972. Let me zoom in. I don't zoom in much on my videos, but I really should. It really helps. Copyright 1972, Cartridge Television Incorporated, Palo Alto, California. Not all of them say Palo Alto. Some say different cities. I want to show you that. See this 15-minute ones? Well, they used to be 15-minute ones. Say Palo Alto. But take a look at this guy. It's kind of faded because it is in fact used. It says Cartridge Television Incorporated, San Jose, California. Yes, San Jose. Now, San Jose, I actually live in San Jose. I live by San Carlos Street in San Jose. San Jose was in fact involved in this format, which is wonderful to know. See, it says Cartridge Television Incorporated, San Jose, California. Yes, this format, not only was it sold in San Jose, it was also manufactured and distributed in San Jose, which is wonderful to know. It's kind of like history, which unfortunately it has been kind of shunned. It's hidden. Not many people kind of celebrate it. I do. I want to celebrate this format, especially knowing that the city where I live was involved in it. All right. Here's another one that used to be, like I told you, 15-minute runtime, but it was converted. See, you have that cut right there to 115. They actually placed with a pen a number 1. Very simple. They didn't put a sticker, a type sticker right there. But right here it says 114. It's sort of like a contradiction. It's a 1-minute error, which is fine. I mean, it's just letting you know that's a lot more tape in here. It's very heavy. It's probably a downside. I mean, these guys were very big, very bulky. Actually, U-Matic tapes are very bulky as well. Now, I don't own any U-Matic videotapes because I don't collect U-Matic. I consider U-Matic to be very common. For example, U-Matic compared to Cartrivision, this is a lot more rare, which I consider to be more special. I love collecting the rare formats, for sure. All right, let me show you the 30-minute ones. Yes, they were yellow. Very nice looking yellow. It's sort of like a lemon colored yellow. Very nice colors right here. This is in fact sealed. Like I told you, you can still find these guys. They won't be cheap, like I told you. It says 30-minute blank cartridge for video recording. Instant playback. Yes, because it doesn't have that red. I'm going to show you one of those ones that have red right here, which actually you weren't able to rewind them yourself. You had to go to your local Sears to have them rewound. Okay, it says 30-minute. It actually has a model here. I mean, that might help you to be able to find these guys. It says 00030B/NB. Cartrivision. Very nice. Yes, yellow, nice and sealed. It's still big. Now, technically, you can open this guy and make it a 114 if you wish. I'm pretty sure that these were more expensive. I'm going to show you actual prices, but not in this video because it would be incredibly long. Place it right there. So far, these are both 15s that were created to 114. These are the 30-minute ones. They're yellow. Very nice. Now, I have shown these via my Twitter page, but like I told you, you can't compare Twitter to YouTube. YouTube, it's the best. This is another 30-minute run. It's sealed as well. It's a little bit damaged, but I mean, considering the rarity, it's fine. Very nice. They have sort of like this sticker. I don't know why. Maybe that was where the original prices were placed. I'm not sure. Obviously, I wasn't around back when this format was released. All right, we have another one right here. That's the 30-minute runtime one as well. Nice and sealed. I absolutely plan to record onto these guys. I think it's something very wonderful to be able to do. This one has sort of like a green sticker. I don't know why. Yes, wonderful history here. Take a look at this. I'm going to definitely zoom in right here. That in fact says Sears. This was actually sold in a brick and mortar store, Sears. It's wonderful history. I want to celebrate that history. Okay, this one actually says Palo Alto as well. Yes, Palo Alto was also involved in this format. 1972, Cartridge Television Incorporated, Palo Alto, California. This must have been sold in a Sears in Palo Alto. Palo Alto is incredibly progressive place for sure. Obviously, whenever I have my work inspected in Palo Alto, it's inspected very well. They have a lot stricter rules regarding electrical systems in Palo Alto. So obviously, my boss has to charge a lot more whenever he works in Palo Alto because there's a whole lot of inspections and very strict rules regarding wirings for both homes and businesses. All right, we have another one here. This is also the 30-minute runtime. Nice and sealed. Very nice. Wonderful yellow color. Green sticker right there. Very nice. Place that right there. Very wonderful sight right there. Okay, now this is something very interesting that I actually didn't know till I started collecting this format. Even though these are the larger size and these are the shorter, smaller size, they're both 30-minute runtimes. Yes, you can, the maximum runtime of these is 30 minutes. So they can either be 15 minutes or 30. These can be 15, they can be 30, they can be 60, they can be 100, but they can also be 114. Now notice this right here. This has the red color top. Now what that meant was that you couldn't just go ahead and rewind these yourself. You had to go to your local Sears to have these rewound. Okay. Now this was actually refilled. Notice that you can see the screws. That means that this was actually open. See? You can see that cut, that seam right there. Now take a look. This is wonderful history right here. Read that. It says Memorex. Yes, Memorex. Memorex did in fact make EIAJ videotape. So this was actually refilled with, that would be Memorex EIAJ videotape, which is wonderful to know. This is recorded. This has a recording in it already. It says Hoff right there. Wonderful. Okay. Even though these two are 30-minute runtime ones, let me show you a little bit something different on them. Okay, this shorter one, smaller one, happens to say, zoom in right there, Cartridge Television Incorporated, San Jose, California. That's a 30-minute shorter one. But this larger one, even though they're both 30, the yellow, this one says 1972 Cartridge Television Incorporated, Palo Alto. So yes, both Palo Alto distributed and sold this format, but also San Jose. Wonderful to know. Actually, Palo Alto and San Jose, they're not too far away from each other. It's just a short, that would be between, somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes at most. All right, here's another one. This happens to be the 30-minute runtime ones, the yellow ones. But this one has also been refilled. See right here, it says Memorex. And it says full. Yes, it was filled up as much as possible. This says Barbie and Al. Mom and Dad. I can't read that. It says Tom Snyder. These must be the people that are in this recording. Yes, because there were in fact cameras that were sold for this Cartrivision format. Now I don't own any of those cameras because they actually they only recorded in black and white. It's not that I hate them. I don't like black and white formats because I actually never used them. I was born in 1982, so you definitely had color formats by 1982. But you can still find the cameras. They pop up on eBay once in a while. But I don't really plan to own the cameras for this format. Yes, 30-minute, but it was refilled with Memorex EIAJ videotape. Wonderful. So far, those are the 30-minute runtime ones. I have a lot more. This video is running pretty long, and I'm just showing the media. I haven't shown you the manuals, the newsletters, the machines themselves. I plan to tell you how I maintain them, how I repair them, how they sound when they use them. They have a particular sound. It's a wonderful feedback that obviously you can't get from a streaming online service. To be able to hear the machine working away is something very special. So this is also a 30-minute one. This is CTI, which I'm not sure what it means. It might be the type of videotape that was refilled in here. I'm not sure. All right, wonderful. So far, those are the 30-minute runtime ones. Those are the 15 that were converted to 114. I'm gonna have to move these towards the side because I have a lot more media to show you. I really want to inspire you, the viewer, to collect this format. It's not impossible. Nothing is impossible. Let me show you the 60. That would be 1 hour. They're orange. Wonderful colors here. 60-minute blank cartridge for recording. Now this is used. It does have recording. Notice that seam again. It's been opened. That means this has been filled with more than 60. The original 60 minutes of videotape are still in here, but there was a splice made, which made this a longer runtime. Like I told you, I'm pretty sure that the Cartrivision Corporation, they absolutely hated this fact. But people, they did do it. They did make their own longer runtime, and they saved a lot of money, like I told you. So you can see the exposed screws. All right. This one happens to say, oh yes, I know that place, San Jose. I live there. Cartridge Television Corporation, San Jose, California. Yes, this is the 60. Like I told you, they created a longer runtime by refilling it with more videotape. So that's the 60. Here's another 60. I love owning these. I mean, to be able to hold these guys, I mean, it's wonderful to show it off. It's something very special. The physical media, I love the physical media, especially when it's considered rare. This is definitely rare. 60 minutes as well. See, it's been opened. It has been cut right here. That means it has been refilled with more than 60 minutes. Quite heavy. All right. This is actually the cover that they came with. It kind of like protected the reels. Let me try to remove this. It's not that easy to remove. It's quite involved. It's supposed to kind of protect the reels from moving around during transportation, stuff like that. Well, since I'm in here, you might not have seen what the actual videotapes look like inside. For example, unlike VHS, VHS is very common. You know this, on VHS they have one tab that you have to press in. On Cartrivision they have two, one on either end. You press those inwards. After you press those inwards, you can hold it, go ahead and open that. Okay, now that's the actual magnetic media. That is in fact oxide, ferric oxide based. It's not the best. You will get wear and tear more than not when it's oxide based. But it is in fact EIAJ, which is quite thick. It's quite strong. EIAJ videotape compared to, for example, Beta, for example, VHS, it's thicker, so it's very strong. Actually, the machines that use this format, they're quite rough on the videotape. For example, when you insert these guys in there, they have to move the videotape upwards, which is so weird. I mean, normally a VCR, it moves the videotape sideways because the machine itself, it's on its side. But for some reason, Cartrivision, the machines, they were kind of standing up. I want to show you this in a lot of detail, but not in this video because it would be insanely long. It has to move the media after this is opened. It has to move the media upwards It's a lot of work to move something upwards. You're really going against gravity. So it's really rough on it. So for example, I really wouldn't recommend you refill these with beta or VHS video. I mean, it must be possible. For example, this is in fact 1/2 inch diameter ribbon. Just like beta, just like VHS. Actually, just like the VX format. The VX format is in fact 1/2 inch based as well. But it's too thin. This is thicker. It's stronger. It's able to survive being, you might say it's manhandled, but the Cartrivision machines. All right. 60 minute, 1 hour. I have a lot more. It's quite an investment here just to be able to record on something so old, so historic like this. Is wonderful. 60 minute, orange color, very nice. Translucent. This happens to say San Jose. Wonderful. Physical media, I love it. Another one, 60 minutes as well. This one actually has not been refilled, so this actually has 60 minutes. Unlike the others that have been opened and refilled. See, you can't see the screws. It has never been opened. All right. Another 60. See how these are kind of like worn? Yes, they are in fact used. I mean, considering their age, they're in pretty good condition. Okay, this actually says what it has, which is wonderful to know. It says, right here, let me kind of zoom in. Okay. This in fact says outtakes. Yes, outtakes. Outtakes of what? Well, let me flip this around. It says Tonight Show and Star Trek outtakes. I love Star Trek. Not only the original series, but the ones that came afterwards. Like, for example, The Next Generation. Wonderful, wonderful show. This has the outtakes of both The Tonight Show and Star Trek. This was actually recorded in 1968 and 1969. But obviously this format wasn't around in that time. So this must be sort of like a rerun of those outtakes. And somebody recorded them in this format, which is the Cartrivision format. Wonderful. I would love to upload this to my video page. That would be Cartrivision digital captures. All right. Now this is another 60. Nice and sealed. Now I do plan to record onto this guy. Something very wonderful. To be able to record onto the physical media. It's very special to me. See, I have quite a site here. Quite a lot of physical media. Now this is obviously just one format that I collect. I collect many formats. And I do plan to collect many more. This is a hobby for me. It's not a cheap hobby. It's quite expensive. This is another one. It's nice and sealed. Yeah, this is sort of like dirt they got in here. Yes, I mean, but still, the fact that these are so old and rare, it's just fine. I just gotta kind of clean them after I open this plastic case. I mean, it's fine. This one also says San Jose right here. Yes, San Jose. Very nice. Orange colored 60-minute runtime. All right, I got a lot more. Here's another 60. Nice and sealed. This one has the red color sticker right here. Very nice. I'm gonna stop recording pretty soon because I just want to show media for now. Beyond the manuals, I have the original manuals. I also have pamphlets, original pamphlets. They were not cheap. I want to show them a lot of detail. Another 60, nice and sealed. Orange colored. That stack is getting pretty high. I'm gonna have to zoom out, kind of show it completely. All right, here's another 60. Nice and sealed. Very nice. This one has slight water damage right here in the corner. I mean, it's fine. All right. Pretty high stack right there. I'm pretty sure there's other people that collect this format. They probably have a lot more than I do. I would love to see those. All right, now this is the blue ones, which are actually 100 minute runtime ones. Nice and sealed. These also have a number which might help you to find them. See right here? It says 00100B/WB. That might help you to find these. All right. This also has a Sears sticker, which is wonderful to see. See right there? It says Sears, the store, the brick and mortar stores, Sears. Now the blue colored 100-minute runtime ones, they actually say San Jose, right there. Right there, San Jose, California. Okay, I'm going to very briefly show you something that states other cities that were involved in this format in a little while before I stop recording. It's wonderful sort of like little snippets of information. Here's another 16-minute runtime one. Now, there were also purple colored ones, but I have not been able to find those because actually, I just started collecting this format about 2 years ago. So considering that this format was released in 1972, I started collecting it very late, incredibly late. So obviously, the later you start collecting something like this, the more difficult it is going to be to find certain media pieces. So I have not been able to acquire, that would be the purple colored ones. This is another 100, nice and sealed. Yes, another wonderful Sears sticker right there. These were in fact sold at Sears. All right. Now this is another 60-minute runtime one. This is sealed as well. It's a little bit ripped right there, but it's fine. Because I do plan to open all of these. I'm going to record onto them. It's wonderful to do such a thing. Record onto something so old. So flawed. I'm going to tell you the truth. This format is quite flawed. I plan to tell you exactly why it is flawed. Okay, now let me show you the service test tapes. Now on some of these service test tapes, they become incredibly expensive because the collectors, the people that collect this format, they know that the service test tapes, and there weren't that many sold. For example, there really was no reason for a homeowner to own service test tapes because these were actually used. Okay, this is wonderful history here. These machines, they were so incredibly big and bulky and heavy that technicians would actually go to your home to maintain them, to repair them. Because imagine having to take something so big as a Cartrivision console to a service location. You're going to have to either rent a truck or a trailer to move that guy. You're going to need more than one person. They're incredibly big because many of these, they had a built-in television screen. So it was a lot more convenient for a technician to go to your house, to your home, to repair them. They would carry such a test tape to determine what's wrong with them. This is a field service tape. It's a part number TT/1057. It's a master tape. These master tapes were actually kept in warehouses. It's the number 3910. This has a date, which is wonderful to see. It says May 3rd. All right. This is not too full. It doesn't have much tape in here. Because it wouldn't be necessary to run this guy for 30 minutes, 60, 100. As long as you will. Now, some of these have, for example, color bars, which really help you determine what's wrong with the machine. This was one of the many service tapes that were carried by the technicians, which is something wonderful to own. A service tape like this, service test tape. All right, place that right there. Not only were there the larger ones, full-size ones, but there were also the smaller ones. Now, this used to be a test tape. See right here, it says Cartrivision test tape. But they were actually refilled. See right here, you can see the exposed screws right there. This says, keep away from all high energy electromagnetic fields. Storage and operating environment, temperature 67 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes sense. Videotape, that would be a wonderful temperature range for a videotape. Relative humidity 35 to 55%. Yes, actually videotape, any kind of videotape or audio tape, they absolutely hate moisture. Okay, now this has a video camera, Cartrivision video camera recording. This happens to say Mom and Dad, Barbie and Al, and it is in fact a copy. Yes, like for example, back in 1972 and back in 1973, video cameras, they were very expensive. Not everybody could afford a video camera. So many times people would go to these photography locations and you would be recorded, video recorded, along with your family and friends, and they would sell you such a videotape. Obviously, everybody carries a video camera nowadays in their cell phone, for example, but there was a time where video cameras they were incredibly difficult to acquire. For example, like I told you, I do own 4 that would be Cartrivision machines, but one of those 4 I purchased from a seller who actually bought it originally. He's the original owner, and he gave me wonderful information about it. He told me that he bought that machine because he wanted to record his parents. That would be the anniversary wedding. He had to carry that machine from one state to another. I mean, imagine having to carry something as big and bulky as a Cartrivision machine to be able to record an event. Yeah, things have changed a lot in the here and now. You can just record, for example, with your cell phone. But it wasn't always like that. It's wonderful history. Okay, here's another one. Now, this used to also be a test tape. This also says Memorex right here. See? It's Memorex. So it has Memorex EIAJ videotape inside, which is wonderful to know. See right here, it also says Memorex. It says Mom and Dad, Bob Ray, Susie, and Bob. These would be the people that are actually recorded in this videotape by using, that would be a Cartrivision camera. Very special stuff right here. Here's another one, which like I told you, it used to be a test tape, but it was used. This is wonderful information. It says Memorex, 2 splices. This actually has 2 splices inside. It says Mom and Dad, Barbie and Al, but it also has Aunt Miriam and family. Yeah, this is something very special to be able to see how people used to dress back in the 70s. It's wonderful. I mean, beyond the film, to have a home recording, especially in such a rare and vintage format like this, is something very special for me as a collector of rare vintage media. All right, now here's another one. It used to be a test tape as well. Okay, I want you to see this and read it yourself. It's Susie and Bob, and that does say porn. Okay, Yes, like I told you, cameras, they were quite expensive. They weren't very easy to acquire. So yes, this does in fact have X-rated material, not a film. This is amateur sexual content on this. This is incredibly special. Beyond having a dollar value, this has a lot of sentimental value, something very private, very personal. Uh, yeah, you might think, oh, disgusting, awful, but I think it's something wonderful. It's history here. All right, let me kind of zoom out to kind of show you. Now, this is not all of my Cartrivision. I do have a lot of pre-recorded titles, but this is regarding most of my blank ones, the ones that I plan to record onto. Okay, let me show you one more thing before I stop recording. Let me kind of show you a preview of what I plan to show you in a lot of detail. Okay, let me really zoom in right here, because this is the real deal. This is not printed stuff. It's not fake from a website. This is the real deal. Look at that yellowish color that these things have. They're very old. Okay, it's very fragile as well. Very old. Yes, I love showing you this. It says CTV, which was the official logo of Cartrivision. It says Cartrivision with an R. It was a restricted, copyrighted logo. Somebody actually drew this with pencil. It says VHF tuner, video amplifier, VTRN. Yes, because back in the days, you actually had to contract somebody to install an antenna on top of your home. Now, you really don't need antennas on top of your home anymore, because everything's digital based. The digital signals, they don't really require those huge antennas. And mostly because most homes, most of them, they don't really use over-the-air television service anymore. They pretty much subscribe to satellite dish, coaxial services, as well as internet television. But back in the days, this was pretty much the only way to receive television signals over the air. This has wonderful information that I want to show you. So old and fragile. Okay, this is Cartridge Television Incorporated, New York, and San Jose, California. Now, what the heck does New York have to do with San Jose? Well, they were both involved in Cartrivision. This is wonderful history. How can two cities that are so far apart from each other, they're pretty much on opposite ends of the country, that were both involved in this format, which is wonderful to know. I mean, look at this. This used to house the manuals and the pamphlets regarding one of my many machines. I really wanted to show you that because it has wonderful little clues. Like, this is a clue. The fact that New York was also involved in Cartrivision. A lot of people, I'm pretty sure, don't know that. Now, let me briefly show you these guys. I plan to show you these in a lot of detail. They're very wonderful. They're very hard to acquire because these are, in fact, originals. I didn't print these guys. They're the original. This is a manual for a Cartrivision machine. It's the real deal. It's not a reprint. It's not a reproduction. I want to show you this in a lot of detail in another video, like I told you. Very wonderful, very yellowish, very old. Oh man, look at this. I'm not going to unfold this guy because it's so special. This is a hand-drawn schematic for the Cartrivision format. This is actual pencil. This is incredibly special. I'm going to show you this in a lot of detail. This is sort of like a pamphlet. It's the real deal. Look at these creases and dented corners. This is not, I didn't print this guy. This is the real deal. This is not just one page. It has a few pages. I want to show you. This is something very special. Notice these red ones. These red ones you were not able to rewind. You had to send them into your local Sears to have rewound. Like some of these did in fact have X-rated material, like I Am Curious. Yes, not only was there an I Am Curious yellow, there was also an I Am Curious blue. Very controversial films, not just because of the nudity, the fact that they talked about religion as well. For example, there's a scene where she's in a church and she's doing many things that really shouldn't be doing in a church. But I mean, it's part of freedom of expression in film. I love that. I've noticed that many films, they have become banned. For example, I own films, not reproductions, the originals, that they have become banned. I mean, I might show them in my videos. I might have to disable the comments on those because some of them are insanely controversial. And they are in fact banned, but I love knowing that I own them and the actual printed, actual physical media. Another film that was sold in this format is Deep Throat. Yes, Deep Throat. It's another very controversial film because it was one of the very first X-rated films that received awards. Yeah, I'm not going to say many things about that film because, it's still controversial to this day. Yes, I want to open this guy and show you in a lot of detail. Okay, this has look at these dates. April 2nd, 1976. Look at these addresses. San Jose, California. These are prices. This is the real deal. Look at this yellowish color that it has on the corners. This is not a reproduction. This is the real deal. This is a lot of sentimental value for me as a collector. Now, this used to be mailed out to people. Now, obviously, they don't really mail out these kind of things because everything's online. Look at this date, April 1976. This tells you in a lot of detail how to refill your Cartrivision videotapes. This is the real deal. This is an actual staple right here. I want to show, this is pretty thick. This is many pages. I plan to make another video where I show you this in a lot of detail. There's a lot of wonderful history here. This is another newsletter that used to be mailed. I mean, look at this date, May 1977. That's a lot longer than, that's a long time after the Cartrivision format was considered obsolete, but it was still being sold. It was still being used. This is actually the address of one of the people whom I bought one of my machines. He actually gave me all of these for free. I mean, after I received that purchase, I received an envelope with all of these printed material, and I actually thanked him. I sent him an email and I told him, Mr. Michael, what the hell? This is incredibly rare stuff. Thank you so much. I mean, I probably don't deserve to own these guys because, like I told you, I don't consider myself a professional, but this is something very special. This is sort of like an inventory list of a warehouse. Let me very briefly show you. Oh yes, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I just want to tell you that I'm going to do my best. There's a lot of history here. Wonderful history regarding this format. Okay, this is an actual inventory list from one of the many warehouses that used to be here in San Jose, California. Look at these numbers. It shows you the actual number of videotapes that they had for a specific title. And they would actually cross them off and then put a number of the ones that they still have. Look at these numbers. They really range. On some of them, they had 7. Some of them, they only had 2. Some, they only had 1. Because they pretty much knew that they weren't going to be as requested as others. Wonderful. This is quite a few pages. This is an inventory list. I want to show this in a lot of detail. This is, look at this date. Price list effective January 1st, 1974. Like I told you, that's after this format was considered obsolete, but it was still being sold. Parts were still being sold. Media was still being sold. Wonderful, wonderful information that I want to show you in a lot of detail. Look at this. This is a schematic for the both inputs and outputs regarding the Cartrivision machines. Yes, wonderful information that I want. I can't tell you how many more videos I'm going to make regarding this format, but it's going to be quite a few. There's a lot to say about this format. I really appreciate it, and I really want to celebrate it. Thank you.